Sorry to keep everyone waiting. Please come in. Come in. You can see I'm doing something a little bit different today. So I'm gonna, do this, and I'll explain when people get in here. Oh, this is taking way too long. Way too long. This is ridiculous. So you know what? There are people sitting up here already. Everyone come in. This is ridiculous. I'm just gonna start, and people will have to come in and just overhear me talk, because I'm not already began. I'm not gonna stand here to wait on people. It's ridiculous. Wasted air, wasted energy. Alright, so I'm seeing people up there ready to go. They're responsible. They are on time. They took initiative. They're all the things that they need to be at the time that they need to be at. So I'm seeing everyone waiting and everyone coming in now, and so I'm going to start talking right now. Is everyone in? Okay, so when I shut this door, the people who don't get in here will have to just watch the recording. I'm seeing several people in here, a lot of people in here actually, which is really good. All right, so, the moon's in Leo today, and I've officially decided, I'm going to just screw any limitation that I have placed upon myself when it comes to, making videos and recording Amenten meetings. And I've just decided to just come out on a limb and do this where I am doing an Amenten meeting, recording from the computer, and speaking and doing this. It is from the side. It is going to be from the side. That's how it is going to be. I'm not going to change it. I've already started the recording. I'm not going to go back and redo the recording. There are going to be no impurities. There are going to be no retakes. Whatever it is, it is. This is like a live stream, except people aren't coming on the live stream. I was going to place it over there, sitting over there, but I don't know about the stability of that little thing, okay? I don't know how stable this computer is, and it's a new computer. It's my own computer. And I am, if you want to use it, then you have to be trustworthy, and your hands have to be clean. You have to not, wear it down. There has to be certain procedures where I use it and I do not feel that lack of abundance. And hopefully when you use it, there are not cracks in the wall of the abundance and the positive feelings and the gratitude that I feel and I'm trying to cultivate for my computer, feeling so good about it, so exciting about it, so peaceful about it, feeling good and secure about it. And I will not have anyone coming and messing that up. Because, I remember getting this computer, which I'm using right now, during a really, really awful Mercury retrograde in Gemini. And just my relationship with this computer has not been the easiest of relationships. It all started when I just had hand sanitizer and it just dripped onto the key of my computer, the mouse pad of the computer. It was just new and boom. It just like I could have just addressed it and cleaned it with alcohol and just had it done and, dealt with it. But Mercury was retrograde in Gemini, and that was not to be had. And sort of things were coming to a climax. Family was coming. I was going to graduate out of high school. There was going to be a big celebration for that. I was going to go out to eat with my grandparents and my parents. My an aunt and uncle of mine were coming over for that Saturday. We were talking, having dinner, reuniting. They were giving me presents and all those plans that happened. And I certainly don't want to keep doing certain things that I later look at and go, wow, I regret this. And I'm doing this for the first time. I don't want to limit myself out of this in doing this. But I do want to do things that I feel is using the computer. I do not want to abuse the computer. The last computer that I had, it was a MacBook Macintosh computer. It was in the case for those of you who hear my Amenten, you remember that computer. It had a black case on it, and it was from the high school in town. That computer, I used the heck out of it. I recorded like a gazillion live streams, all of which are deleted, and there's no way of getting them back. I can't look back on them. I can't rewatch them. And so I really feel bad. I did all of that for so long and I got rid of so much, and I just feel super terrible that I had to compulsively just delete things when, just all these things accumulated and gone. I feel really bad, and that's a huge reason why I'm coming and doing this, and that's a huge reason why I'm doing this computer, because technically it is purer than that computer I used and abused, and the phone that is currently downstairs getting looked at and refurbished, if you will, so that the memory and that the SD card of the phone is getting put back to normal, meaning the SD card, the space off of that is getting cleared. And hopefully space will be cleared so that I can record videos on the phone. And not only that, but I'll be able to use it for longer. And do more Amenten meetings like this. Do more videos like this. And so, as I was saying, the relationship with this computer hasn't been the best. Of relationships, I've had to go through a Pluto retrograde, of feeling really insecure, of not feeling comfortable, and feel internal feelings of insecurity when I'm using it. And I really fought myself and restricted myself from doing this. And I am not going to abuse this computer, although I just thought to myself, I really want to do this. And so I'm going to do it. What the heck? So, I will not be doing any live streams on it. Certainly not, Amenten live streams on that. I won't be doing that. And it certainly will not be filming any dead wasted energy. If you have any questions, then it's very likely, now I can't guarantee this, but it's really likely that I'll stop the recording and doing this. And so the main time when this is recording, things had better be entertaining, interesting, engaging. So that means if this is running, I will not be waiting on people. When this is running, I will not be standing here just have nothing to say and sitting on what I could be doing, any, just using it for unnecessary reasons. No. So you really need to get your stuff in gear when this is going, because, you just, if you're not here, you're not here. You just have to watch the recording. For those who are here, when I start the recording, then it's going to be the way it's going to be. There are going to be no retakes to these meetings. I may forget something, I may forget to mention something, I may be disorganized, or something may happen. Well, it's just going to be the way it's going to be. It's really going to be a live stream. And so I've gotten better with my relationship with the computer. I feel at a better place with it now than I did. And the sort of feelings of insecurity have kind of diminished, and some of that feeling has been alleviated. And so I probably will not be doing these videos that often, but maybe a couple times I may take it out and do this. I really don't know. Maybe quite, very often. It may be not too often at all. It just depends. So, no promises, although I might, do it more often because I've made it an option for myself. I've made it an opening. It is now an option. Even though I said, May 19th of this year, because last year, May 19th, I got the computer last year on that day. And so I said to myself, on May 19th, I'm going to do this. On May 19th, I give myself permission to watch videos and record Amenten meetings. Well, too late. The ship has sailed. This recording's going. I've already given myself permission to do that, and so I don't have to wait until May in order to do that, to feel good about it, to not feel guilty about it, to really have permission, and have it be an option, and to really initiate that and get that off the ground, because we're living in a time where there's 3 months out of this year where all the planets are direct. And so if you want to initiate something, if you want to take advantage of an opportunity and get something off the ground, get something accomplished, get out into the world, do whatever you want to do, achieve something, then now is the time to start that new venture, start that new pursuit in your life. So, that's one of the things, and I could certainly go on a rant about that. Another thing that I want to remind you about is that I, on last week's meeting when I did the announcements, I said I'd be going back to the glory days of how it used to be. I didn't say that. That's sort of giving away what I want to say. I said I wasn't going to assign homework assignments. I wasn't going to assign this I wasn't going to have you read this random article, watch this video, and have that, and have that inconvenience you. Because I don't believe in that, and I don't agree with, extra stuff, particularly teachers doing that extra stuff, and there's sort of a, strings attached and an underhand secret reason behind why you're doing that, but you didn't explain that in class. You didn't explain the rationale. You didn't explain the purpose behind what you're doing and why you're doing it, if it would be trivial. And anything really, not only the trivial stuff like read this New York Times article and answer this quiz, but also the, essay writing or a personal narrative, or anything to help you become a better writer, anything to improve your writing. Because the teacher that I have now, the composition teacher, we're currently working on a personal narrative where we have to write out a story of something that occurred in our lives that has impacted us on the SPIRE acronym, which is spiritual, physical, um, emotional is another one, various levels of happiness. So one of the options is we need to write a personal narrative about something, an event in our personal lives that has impacted and probably bettered us when it comes to the various levels of happiness and well-being and emotional, mental, physical well-being. And then the other option was that we need that to write about literacy, write about something that has impacted us when it comes to learning to read, learning to write. Any experience that deals with literacy, such as learning a foreign language, reading this new book, talking to this new person in a foreign language, all these kinds of things. And I could certainly stand here and go, into detail about it, but I hope that you get that. And so, this teacher is doing that. Plus, he also is a believer in, doing homework, and there's a homework assignment where there's several activities that we need to do for skill building and to go alongside and to support and to add to as an addition to the personal narrative. So one of the things would be a discussion board with answering a question about a certain section about, mental well-being, mindset, achieving what you want. I forget what it's about, but it deals with like betterment in terms of your education and, planning how, when to do your work, scheduling, being efficient, being orderly, really, how you, um, how you, um, you know, that kind of thing. So I hope that you're catching on to what I'm saying. So the other question deals with, I'm trying to think, what is it about? It's about how you basically want your experience to be based off of your actions. So, are you open? It deals with collaborating with people. It talks about um, so many different things. But so it's a question, we need to respond to a certain question, summarize a certain section. I did, be open to new ideas, and I sort of wrote something about that. And then we also need to respond to two other classmates have who post, because it's the discussion board who make posts over their section in that book and what they've written about and what they've learned from that section. And also how it relates back to their personal lives as well. That's another thing that they need to talk about and that I needed to talk about there, and that's what I did. So I wrote it, and then I would need to respond to two other people. I've already responded to one person. So that's one of the things I have to do. Another thing I need to do is there was like and I'm going to talk about it today, talking about grammar and comma splices. So comma splices is if you have a sentence. I don't want, all I'll, I'll get into that. But it's basically where we need to have a comma, where, it's basically reading about comma splices in writing and fused sentences and sort of, what is a comma splice? What is a fused sentence? Where do you make those mistakes, and do you make those mistakes? How can you fix those errors in writing? And also purposely and consciously making a mistake and then making intentionally doing a comma splice, and then intentionally making that mistake and then correcting it. So that's another thing that we need to do with that. And so it's a test, and there's various questions. The first question of the test is about what is a comma splice, what's a fused sentence, those kind of things. The second question deals with where do you make those mistakes? Do you make those mistakes? How do you fix a comma splice? How do you fix a fused sentence if I'm getting that correct? And where and purposely making that mistake. That's the second question. So all that is in the second question of the test. So that's the other thing, and then there's the article about like a New York Times article, and then there's a quiz over it. And I really don't understand why we need to do that in the first place. I'm sort of debating it around in my head whether or not I should do it, because I really don't know. I don't believe in that kind of extra stuff. But anyway, my point in saying that, the New York Times, by the way, is a news, source with all news articles and, so many other things. They're really popular. They're really famous, really well established, and all this kind of thing. So, I'm sure you've heard of the New York Times. They have a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to that. You can subscribe to the New York Times and get news and articles about stuff. So, yeah. And it's a paid subscription that you have to pay for. And another thing with that is, I don't know, you sort of have to pay to be able to read the article, but it's through DMAC, which is the, college I'm at right now. It's sort of thing where you enter the New York Times through DMAC, and then you get access to it. When you subscribe to it, you don't have to pay for it when you find an article. Because I clicked the link to the article, and then it showed up that you have to pay to read this. You have to subscribe to this. I've already done that. It's too complicated. I shouldn't have to invest money or pay to read an article which is trivial for composition class. It's just ridiculous. Well, for any class, no one should have to do that. So my whole point in saying this is that I sort of want to take it back to how things used to be in 2020. And what this means is I want to do things as much as it does not inconvenience or overwhelm you. So I may say, hey, read this or do this, but I have, hopefully, I'll have a reason in doing that. And I will sort of insert those things for you to do, those activities for you to do, that homework, if you will, for you to do. But I want to be aware that I'm not overwhelming you, because the whole reason is I want to engage with this dimension more. I want to do more things. I want to have more plans. I want to go in depth. I want to create experiences and meetings that I refer back to, that I watch and go, oh, that happened there, and I, remember that, and I, reflect back on it and don't feel that guilt about deleting it. It's there, and I go, well, looking at it from a perspective of, a year from now, or months from now, or a couple of years from now, and having that to refer to, and having that as a memory, and taking advantage of opportunities, and making the most of things, and doing a lot, and engaging, and just doing stuff, and having you doing stuff. And the plans that I have, plans that I want to implement for this year, might involve you having to do work, might involve you having to, do a couple things, watch a video, read an article, respond to a certain thing, do a reflection about this experience, this kind of things. So I may, have you do those things, and hopefully I explain the purpose and the reasons behind that really clearly and explicitly and thoroughly and well. Um, so, that you can understand that. Um, and yeah, so I certainly want to do that. And yeah, certain plans I want to implement. I want to, take it back to um, how it was before. So now I have some, just some stuff to get into, actually. I've already sort of spoken a little bit, but I do have some stuff I want to talk about today. And I just sort of have a list that I wrote down here. Now, first of all, I really, think it's important, that all of you are paying attention to this information. I will be doing a weekly announcement video that will be coming out tomorrow. And this video will be going over the weekly announcements for the week. So what's going on each and every single day of the week, what the general announcements are, any project, any activity, any mention guest, any occasion that we might cut on, any custom or unit or subject matter that we might talk about, any concert or plans that I have, ideas that I have, thoughts that I have that sort of come up. So it's sort of a journal. I also take the time, if anything comes up, if I want to say something or express something, get something off my chest, um, and talk about something, then I'll certainly give myself permission to do that. And I may also give just an overview of just talk a little bit about the astrology for that, for that week. Know that I am a YouTuber, and I do produce videos on astrology and what's currently going on in the cosmic sky. You know, with full moon in Leo tomorrow, or new moon in Pisces on February 20th. March 7th is a super important day because not only is there a full moon in Virgo, but I think there's a full moon in Virgo on that day. Saturn's entering Pisces on that day. So those kind of things. So forecasting astrology of what is going to be upcoming, what transits, aspects, um, are going to be occurring astrologically. So that's what I do, what I'm doing on my YouTube channel. I certainly have other content that I produce on there, from all different types of content, spirituality content, videos on spiritual topics, spiritual tips, general astrology videos of this planet and this sign, for instance, and other stuff too, such as, music to listen to anytime. It's basically, you record an audio, take a picture of it, put it through a voice changer app, then publish that to YouTube, and then edit music over it from the YouTube editor, music options. And so you can find, many of those music to listen to at any time videos. It'll show, you'll see a picture and you'll just hear music playing in those audio recording videos. That's, how the setup looks. So, I may go over the general astrology of what is going on for the week in that regard in those videos. And those weekly announcements, I will be going over the weekly announcements videos, which are kind of mandatory, for you to watch. So I will take the time and produce those videos and, prepare those videos and, get into it, make things really clear to the point and explain it really well. So I do really, insist, that you do watch those videos to get that information And Daniel, Susan, and Linda will clarify anything and go more in depth into anything I did not get in depth about, and talk about, other aspects of the event and other announcements, certain clarifications, certain details that you need to know about, and the jobs and positions that they do. For those of you at the event, and you know what those are. So I shouldn't have to go over those. Nadia Shaw right now, the spiritual teacher. She has a YouTube channel, Instagram. She does weekly videos on the weekly astrology for that week. She also has an online school called Synchronicity University, where teachers from various astrologers, really advanced astrologers, really excellent, well trained, famous astrologers teach classes on certain niches of astrology, like um, Marie De Simone's going to be she recorded the lecture um, of a presentation that she was showing, lecturing and explaining how predictive astrology is done, and how you predict cycles and timings of astrological events and transits that will occur in someone's chart that will have an impact on their life and their choices and how they choose to live their life or not. Because while the astrological chart shows you the potentials of what is going to happen, because it is predictive, you have the free will button to press. You sort of, you have a sheet of music, which is your astrological chart, but it's really up to you how you play and compose that music. Or you not compose that music, it's already sort of made up. How you play the music. Is it going to be with 10 spoons in a kitchen, or from the London Philharmonic, which is from Pam Gregory's book, You Don't Really Believe in Astrology, Do You? You do have free will, and you co-create your life with spirit, the divine, and, yeah, so, um, yeah, so various astrologers teach various techniques and areas and sort of the branches of astrology. So if astrology was a tree, and you have the trunk of the tree, and then you have all the different branches of astrology and all these astrologers who specialize in those different unique branches, and then they teach that content in on a lecture, which is probably like they're projecting a presentation and then they're speaking, or it's a class that you would attend live and then get the recording for later if you didn't make it live, or and the prices for paying for the individual classes at Synchronicity University are really low as like $3 or $5 a class for really advanced and high quality, phenomenal, astrology content, which is, as an Aquarian that Nadia Shaw is, Aquarius is for the people, for the betterment of humanity, for the collective. And so many people don't have a fortune. So many people don't have $1,000 to pay for Deborah Silverman's applied astrology, but they do have you know, the majority of people do have enough money and can make enough money where they can pay for, particularly such classes as Nadia Shah's classes and so many other astrologers' classes and courses, including Marie De Simone's astrological courses, because she also teaches astrology. So with Synchronicity University, there's so many teachers and so much content, so much to learn and explore and expand your knowledge about astrology. But I don't know if people are going to be taking that yet. But it is a probability that it may become an option if you want to take classes at Synchronicity University. Um, you know, but I don't think now, because I don't, I'm not doing that. And so I think, as early this is where I can't contradict myself. I mean, I may say something that's super crazy, but it's going to be the way it's going to be. So as early as May 5th, starting May 5th, that's when you can take classes at Synchronicity University and pay for the class and do that. So starting May 5th of this year, you can take classes and courses at Nadia Shah's Synchronicity University for whatever you're interested in, whatever you find valuable, whatever you want to learn and grow in terms of your astrology knowledge. And if you want to become an astrologer, well, there's plenty of courses to prepare you and have you learn new information and all these kind of things. But it's for anyone who's interested in astrology, wants to become an astrologer, grow their knowledge on astrology. It's content based, where you're learning intellectual information. It's really interesting. It's really exciting and fun, and just yeah. So that will become an option for that day, starting May 5th this year. But Maria de Simone is she is teaching a class on predictive astrology techniques, where she's showing client examples and showing how she predicted their astrology through the math of astrology, through the sacred geometry, through the aspects, through the transits that are occurring in their natal chart, and how that person's going to be impacted and what is going to occur in their life, in that person's life. So she has a whole lecture on that, a whole video that she did on that. And so and she's doing that recording lecture, presentation, speaking, and for Synchronicity University, and people can pay to watch that. And I am going to have her make it free and available for you as members of the Amenten to watch her lecture, which she is going to make available for you. And you'll get a link. There'll be an email that'll be sent out. I'll put it on my Amenten page for you to watch that recording that lecture of her talking about predictive astrology. So that's what I want to inform you about there. Watching a video on the full moon. The full moon is tomorrow. It is in Leo. The sun in Aquarius is opposite the moon in Leo. I have a whole video about that on my YouTube channel that you can watch. Basically, it's about freeing yourself in terms of your creative expression, which I'm doing now, being authentically yourself, liberating yourself, shining your light, opening your heart to more love, and understanding that balancing your personal life and the interpersonal, what you want to do personally and how you collaborate with the group and sort of bring into various overlaps in that way. There's videos about that. There is, a video that I did, and I would recommend that you would watch a video about that and then email me and just send me the link to the video and what you thought about it. That's sort of, what I kind of, want you to do in a way, where you're watching a video about this full moon from Rebecca Goldsmith or Astrology with Heather or somebody else, just saying what you thought about it and just kind of summarize it, and then put the link to the video that you watched so that I can see what video that you watched, all of that in an email. So what you're writing down is you're writing down in the email, this is really important, you're writing down what the video was about, what channel made the video, that's the second thing. The third thing is what did the video cover, how is it unique from, say, another video, because I could watch any astrology video, how's that video unique, and something that you took away that you learned that was new, that you never learned before, um, from that video that you learned. Um, and then the final thing is, um, your thoughts about that video. So what you thought about it. Did you, like it? Did you think it was okay? So all those kind of things. So, that's really important. So hopefully I did make that clear. And the instructions for that will be on my page so that you can see those instructions as well. So everything's organized. I'm trying to stick more to a schedule. I'm trying to stick more to a routine. Say I'm going to do this at this time. There's going to be a meeting at this time. Sticking to it, not changing my plans. Laying stuff out really clearly, in depth, so that you can understand it's legitimate, it's materialized, so that you can go and see the information and understand it, and then do the whatever activity or project based off of that information. So, so bringing it back how it was, there's a lot of ideas here that I have. The songs also for, the concert. Um, this is where I'm starting to feel that feeling of guilt and overwhelm. Okay, so just so Bon Shutter, there is going to be an album that I'm preparing for that right now, with the songs that I'm composing, coming up with the lyrics, coming up with the melody for those songs. That album is going to hopefully be out by the 15th of September of this year, because it is going to take a lot of time. So that's something that I'm working on. And then sometime, maybe around the summertime, during the summertime, there may actually be a concert with those kind of songs. So I'll work the songs out, and then that album will be composed, and there'll be somebody recording studio. Those songs will be composed. The album will get out. That people will design the album, and it'll get out for people of the Amentens, and people, for in people to see that are within the realm of the Amentens, not publicly, not out there, because obviously that's really dangerous, because I would risk um, con- the uh, the confidentiality, and it would risk the safety and the exposure of the Amentens in this. So will be out for people at the Amentens to uh, listen to, as an album. So there'll be songs, various songs I'm working on right now. So I do want to quickly go through that, including, one various song. It's called "Wash the Rain Away." So his birthday is actually March 22nd, and he is an Aries Sun. So just that, and me looking at his natal chart, turn around all the complaints and criticisms I had for him, and now I view him in a different way, having more sort of appreciation and compassion for him and who he is. Um, and Sort of the past couple of years, 2022 and 2021, it's been rainy and cloudy on March 22nd. And so, wash the rain away on that day is a symbol for washing all the pain, the sorrow, washing the past away, to bring room for something new, the new astrological new year. Sun enters Aries, the new year, the astrology new year begins, fresh starts, initiate new things, go after what you want, those kinds of things. So it's getting rid of the past, bringing in the present, and bringing in something new. So I'm working on those songs, and yeah, that's just what I wanted to announce. I am, comma spicing and writing, plus fuse sentences. Um, well, actually, yeah. So I don't feel like I want to go over that because it's just too technical. I'll send you an article which will give information about that so that you can see it. Um, Another reminder, moving right down the list, that on February 6th, which is going to be a Monday, there is going to be a Aquarius Clubus meeting at about, I would say, 1:30 in the afternoon. That meeting, if you're members of the Aquarius Clubus, if you want to join the Aquarius Clubus, that meeting will be going on at that time. I will reiterate once again that if you want to come to this clubus, then you kind of need to read the section before coming into the clubus. It isn't like a class because it's a club, but it's also a class. So there is reading, and I'll be discussing and lecturing that reading and that material. So if you want to come, you can come at any time. You can come on one meeting, not come on the other. Maybe you'll come to the next meeting after that. So people can come to this meeting, so you don't have to come, for every meeting. Anyone can come no matter what meeting it is. But for that specific meeting, it comes highly recommended by me that you read the section and get prepared beforehand so that you're coming in having, so that you're with the program and that you have an understanding and a knowledge base of what we're going to be digging into so that it's not total brand new information, and so that you get the value of probably what you want to get out of the meeting. Okay, so that's what I would say. And, there might be activities or projects that may come about, or those kind of things. And I might stand up here and teach and talk, and people will come in this room, and that will go on. So that's why I say it is a class, even though it is also a club, and first and foremost a club. People can come. It's really exciting. It's really engaging. It's for people who want to come, who are interested. But it is a class at the same time. Hence, Club S. Instead of Club S, because that sounds bad. Club S, Club, and then S. Club, class. Club S, which is class. So the two words sort of put together in one. So that meeting is going on February 6th. For those who want to be in that meeting, for those who are members, then we are going to be talking more about Aquarius as a child and getting more in depth and really digging into that. So I will make a point of reading that section before that meeting so that I'm prepared. And I recommend that you read that section so that you prepare so that I will be discussing that section of this book, Aquarius as a Child, which I can't find it right now, but the Little Book of Aquarius. I'm sure that you know what it looks like, the Little Book of Aquarius. And so that is sort of the textbook, if you will, for the club. Then again, it's a class too, so that's why I say that. But so that section, the Little Book of Aquarius, the section Aquarius as a Child, that section, the whole section. If you want to join the meeting on February 6th at 1:30 p.m., then make sure you read that section before coming to the meeting, because we're going to be discussing it, and I'll make those plans and see what I can come up with for plans for that meeting. But that's what I have planned at the moment. And looking at maybe an inventory and a writing that you may do about if you have Aquarius planets, an Aquarian experience that you can sort of gather up from your childhood, or from your real life, which you may do, or so some sort of writing based off of that. And I sort of haven't got that together yet, but um, but I'm still sort of marinating on that at the moment, but I probably will. There'll be some kind of writing about the queer dealing corresponding to that Aquarius as a child section. So that's all that I just want to say for now. Um, for Aquarius season, there is a kind of, project, um, and that'll actually not be due until March, which will actually not be due until the 28th of this month. So, not until the 28th of this month. So the 28th of February, that project will be due. And it is a global hot button issue. So you're taking a global issue that's going on, hunger, um, sort of segregation that is still ensuing at the moment, is still current at the moment, climate change. These really big, global, really important hot button issues, what you're basically doing is you are doing a kind of um, sort of announcing and giving information, sort of like I still haven't explained what I'm going to do with that. There's something that I want to do, a sort of headline. Um, I think I think it may be a headline, um, and like a pamphlet. It'll be kind of a pamphlet about so you're taking this, this really big issue, and then you're explaining it. This is what it's about. This is what's going on. These are the problems in the world today in regards to this issue, and what are the steps that could be taken in order to improve it. What could people do? What could you practically do in your practical life to change and make a difference based off of this issue? So if it's toxic waste in the ocean, you can, um, reduce the amount of plastic water bottles you consume. Um, if it is, if it's kindness, then doing, gestures that are kind. One of which is so small as opening the door for somebody and letting them in. So all these kind of things, you'll be taking an issue and explaining it and delving into it, and then after you do that, and getting into it and showing the sort of evidence of where it's occurring in the world, and analyzing it, and going sort of in depth about the issues, and giving the solutions for how people can improve and better themselves and clean up the mess, or better the the world in regards to this issue, fix this issue, change the state of the world because of this issue. So that's what's going on. And those aspects of the world, those aspects of reality, and what's going on based off of that issue that you're looking at. So there'll be information and the details. So it'll be a pamphlet, sort of online. Online. It will be online, where you'll just be looking up information and doing research, and sort of there'll be instructions of what you need to write out, and you'll write the information in, put images, and then the parts of it where it asks for putting solutions in, and researching and sort of allowing yourself to come up with your own solutions, creating your own solutions, being inventive. It's not just from online, open, your mind and come up with these new solutions for what you want to do, um, and what you want other people to do with this, to fix this issue. So all those little details for that, I'll do a video, I'll have information on my page as opposed to the specifics of that, because to stand here and try to explain all that, it's just, this is not the right setting in the format for that, to do that in. Reminder also that Mars retrograde season ends on March 15th. So, reminder that September 3rd through the 5th, Mars entered shadow, which is entering the territory that it's going to go to, travel forward. And then on October 30th, remember, it's stationed retrograde in Gemini. So then it's backtracking all the way to the beginning of where all the way, it's going back. So when Mars went retrograde on October 30th, you're basically going back to, Mars is going back to where it was around September 3rd when it entered shadow. And then on January 12th, Mars stationed direct, and it's going to go down that path, cross those degrees, so from 8 to 25 degrees of Gemini, from January 12th, where it's stationed, so it stands still in the sky, stations, direct, changing directions, just like it's stationed retrograde on October 30th. It's stationed direct January 12th. It's going to slowly continue to move on until March 15th, and then it leaves that 25 degrees of Gemini behind, and it leaves the shadow, and it leaves the retrograde zone of that Mars retrograde season. So interestingly, Mars spends about 40 to 45, 50 days in a sign, on a regular basis, not when it's going retrograde, when there's a retrograde season. But during Mars retrograde seasons, they're rare. They happen about every 2 years, and they're really rare, and they last for a really, really long period of time. Mars slows way down and stations this direction, and then continues on for 74 days, or it could be 65 days, or 63 days, 7 days, around that time frame of days, and then it, stations direct, continues on, and so, it moves slower, and then it sort of picks up its momentum, and, continues to move forward, and then we leave all the retrograde season, behind. So we're done with those issues and all those things, and we move on. And then on the 25th of March, Mars leaves Gemini, enters Cancer. It's going to trine Saturn in Pisces, which Saturn's going to go to Pisces on March 7th, so there's going to be a trine of Mars and Saturn, Mars in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, near the end of March this year. Now, there is going to be an assignment on Mars retrograde season and reflection, where you're reflecting over your experiences of the lessons that you've learned during the retrograde season over your own life. You do not have to tie it into the astrology unless it naturally comes, because that's hard to do, tie your own real life into what's astrologically going on. So, what has your experience been? What are the issues? What are the problems that you have had? What are the challenges you've overcome? What are the experiences, people, places, things, situations that you have, that have taken place in your life during this frame of time? And it's sort of a writing kind of thing. With it's just sort of like a personal narrative, and there'll be information about that, of the whole structure of the introduction, the middle paragraphs, the formatting, the format, the expectations. But you're basically just writing about your experience in the Mars retrograde, and what it was like, and How did it impact you? How did it change you? How, was your experience? For me, the issues that I had to face were these dry hands that I have now, checking, um, checking, myself and the restroom, all those kind of things, and certain insecurities and guilt and lack of motivation, feeling inabundant with, not abundant with my life, and those kind of things. So that's my, own sort of thing of my own issues. Um, so I'm feeling down and depressed. I haven't been too abundant with my life. I wish I viewed my life in a better way and all the stuff in it, seeing as I compulsively went through those subscriptions last summer and did all of that and messed that all up and uh, so many other things. So that guilt has come up, the insecurity, the OCD, the constant checking back and forth, the intrusive thoughts, that kind of thing. There's so many issues. Anyway, reminder that this summer there is going to be a Venus retrograde in the sign of Leo. The last time this happened was in 2015. So 2015, I was a different person. My auras were impaired. My speech was not as good. I was Jupiter in Virgo that year. From July 25th through September 6th, I think it was, Venus was retrograde in Leo. Those of you at my Amenten, remember what went on at the time, what was going on at my Amenten. Venus will go retrograde in Leo again, and so there'll be a variety of days and occasions that the Amentens will put on, events that certain Amentens will put on, resources, videos, articles, content, activities, songs, music that will be based around the themes of Venus retrograde and Venus retrograde in Leo, because I really want to take advantage of this, because it's only every 18 months or so that Venus goes retrograde in a given sign, or signs can start at the beginning or middle of one sign, retrograde back into the later degrees of another sign, or the latter degrees of that sign. So there'll be certain things with that, and it'll sort of be throughout the whole Venus retrograde experience, when it's going retrograde, pre and post shadow of Venus. So, that goes on, as well, both the pre-shadow, retrograde phase, post-shadow. I expect you to know what those terms mean by now, and I'm not going to reiterate those. But so it'll be experience where there'll be occasions and events based off on it, maybe reading a certain short story that relates to Venus retrograde, or listening to the song based off of this, or going to this place that ties this location that deals with Venus retrograde. Maybe there'll be an activity where you'll choose an activity or a couple activities that are based off of the Venus retrograde, and then write sort of a reflection about those activities, about your experiences. And at the end of the Venus retrograde season, there may also be a reflection over that Venus retrograde season, and what it will, what it entailed for you, and what was your experience of that. And then when the nodes of the moon change signs out of Taurus and Scorpio, so the North Node's been in Taurus, South Node's been in Scorpio since January 18th last year. They're going to change signs. North Node's going to be in Aries, South Node's going to be in Libra. And so there may be a reflection that you may do at that time over your experience of the Taurus North Node, Scorpio South Node transit, over the lessons that you've become, the challenges that you had to face, themes coming up, experiences that you've had, how you've grown as a person through that whole transit, and the Mars retrograde reflection that you're doing, and some of these things overlap, because one thing goes on astrologically, one transit, one aspect happens astrologically, while something else goes on too. as well. So like the Mars retrograde in Gemini happened over, you know, um, you know, those months. And then while that was going on, you have the South Node in Scorpio, North Node in Taurus, which is a larger, transit. And so, you may use information from Mars retrograde, um, reflection in the Scorpio, South Node, Taurus, North Node transit reflection if that's meaningful, and you learn from that and that's significant to you, that's valuable to you, and you want to include that. And those are the lessons that you learn and how you've grown. So, yeah, you can use multiple things that you wrote. One reflection, you've written another based off the different reflections and transits that we have. And now I'm sort of getting confused and getting off on that tangent. I want to keep this moving along here. Watching past videos, I have been watching past videos that I'm uploading right now. I'm going through videos of 2020. Right now, those videos I've recorded of Amenten meetings in 2020, I'm uploading those slowly but surely. Somehow I'm uploading them. They take a long time to upload, like really long time. So I am uploading all of them, and I will send you a giant email and put those videos on my page for you to see, and maybe also post some Facebook posts about those videos and showing each and every video. Probably, well, I can't promise that, but there will be an email, which I'll send you all the links to those videos since they are enlisted on the various accounts that I have. I'll put all the videos on that email. You'll see a ton of links. You'll have those options, and you'll just, have that as an option for you to go back and watch and refer to those videos. There may be something, that I may have you do on that, but I think at the moment, that's fine. So I just want to skip through that since it's not relevant. Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is going to be entering Pisces March 7th. And throughout the whole Saturn and Pisces transit, we're going to be looking at your spiritual trajectory, how you're growing as an individual, how you're evolving through your spirituality, really getting serious and legitimizing spirituality. So that includes spiritual practices such as meditating, journaling, pulling oracle cards, affirmations. So what are you consciously doing to better yourself as somebody who is a spiritual being first and human being second, not the other way around? We're human beings, not human doings, as the saying goes. And so in Saturn enters Pisces, I may explain your spiritual project and what that will be about. It will basically, maybe it'll be sort of a timeline of events that you'll do based off of your experiences and how you've grown and how you are getting serious about spirituality, developing your spirituality, spiritual practices, and that project covering the themes of Saturn and Pisces. And I'll put a video on my main YouTube channel about Saturn and Pisces. You'll see that sometime. So I do want to sort of alert you about that. Pluto in Aquarius current events assignments. Now when Pluto changes signs into Aquarius on March 15th of this year, it'll stay there for a brief period of time through June 19th. It'll retrograde back into Capricorn on June 19th this year, I think it is, if I'm getting that right. And so when Pluto's in Aquarius, I really urge you to go look at current events, and there may be some assignments that you would do where you're summarizing those articles that you read, and what they were about and what you got out of them, and if you can relate them back to your personal life. I don't require that because everyone has their own experiences, and not everything you relate to. So There may be some assignments coming out where you may read this article, summarize it, talk about it, explain it, and then maybe if you can relate it back to your personal life or what a takeaway from it, or something that shocked you, or something that affected you in some way or another from that. Um, on April 21st, I don't know why I saw this image in my mind, but it's of a treasure hunt where you are. There's going to be a treasure hunt, which will be arranged by certain Amentens. So you're hunting down treasure, you're finding treasure, um, digging up treasure. You'll be in groups and discover that treasure, and so it'll be a treasure hunt. Whoever finds it wins. It's a sort of game where you're given clues, and you have to go find the treasure. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it is an Annette Pine, and it is something that I see in my mind as a vision for April 21st of this year. So, a treasure hunt going on, arranged by several Amentens. Those plans still have to get underway, probably by Lubimbi Groja's Amenten or Lubimbi Grunia's Amenten. So I just wanted to alert you about that. And then something going on April 20th. What's going on April 20th? Well, there is an eclipse on that day. And so there may be something where you might be going on a plane that day and seeing what it looks like from that perspective, and sort of having, a kind of experience, which will be the first eclipse of the series of eclipses in Aries and Libra, since the nodes are moving into Aries and Libra in July this year. So there will be an eclipse on that day, and some type of event on or around that day. But eclipses, full moons, new moons, I'll have you stay home, celebrate those days, take advantage of those days. The Amenten will not be running and working on full moons, new moons, and eclipses. So tomorrow you're going home, you're celebrating, enjoying Sunday, enjoying the full moon in Leo, that kind of thing. Nadia Shah is coming back to the Amenten on February 11th, so I do want to remind you about that. She is coming back to the Amenten. She will be talking about the astrology of 2023, giving a presentation at the room, showing a room, where people present stuff. So that there will be, on February 11th, she'll be coming in the morning, and then at 2:00 in the afternoon, she will be hopefully, giving a presentation on the astrology of 2023, and what will be going on this year, and what has already happened astrologically this year. And that'll be going on at this Amenten. People from all over the other Amentens can come. It's, pretty open door. And so you can come. It is, optional if you're interested. There will be seats open. There will be popcorn, snacks, and drinks available for you to eat and drink and enjoy as you're watching that and taking in the information that she is talking about, which she is going to have prepared, and stay, at the Amenten for other reasons, which include just to stay at a certain time for a minute, maybe about a couple of days or so, or a week or so. It just depends on what she wants to do and how long she wants to stay at the Amenten. Okay, so she is coming back. 2020 astrology. 20, astrology of 2020. I don't want to stand here and go over that. So I may do a separate video over that. past astrology videos. I'm putting past astrology content in a playlist. So past, forecasts of what happened in the past astrologically. So I am making a playlist of those past astrology videos, and I am watching those videos right now. So reflecting back on the Mars retrograde in Aries in 2020, reflecting back on the Venus retrograde in Capricorn 2021 through 2022. Um, Basically, the main events that happened in 2020 was on January 12th, I believe there was a Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. Saturn entered Aquarius on March 22nd, retrograded back into Capricorn and into Aquarius again on December 17th of that year. Jupiter entered Aquarius, around that time. They formed the Great Conjunction on December 21st in Aquarius, which starts a brand new 200-year cycle where Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Not only that, but there was a Venus retrograde in Gemini that went on. There also was a Mars retrograde in the sign of Aries, which happened from the retrograde season was July 25th, July 26th through January 3rd, and Mars went retrograde in Aries from September 9th through November 13th of that year. Past astrology videos, content abuse, basically abusing content, abusing it, like, compulsively going through binge watching. I don't, even know that, why that is on here, because that would lead to a whole discussion that I don't want to get into at this point. May 16th and 17th, which are really important days for the Amenten. May 16th is a day where people are going to be going to a park and having a lunch, having a picnic in the park, because Jupiter will enter Taurus and deals with connecting with nature, the simple pleasures of life. And so I see going to the park and Jupiter and Taurus connected with that. So I just have that rough plan going on that day. May 17th is the semifinals for people involved in choir. There will be a concert. That music will include the winter songs from the winter concert, the spring concert. So the winter concert is on March 20th, starting at 7 p.m. The spring concert is on March 21st, starting at 7 p.m. So there'll be songs which will be a combination, sort of songs from both concerts, and maybe a couple of songs from the summer concert, which will be on June 22nd of this year, and that will be performed at the semifinals in Pella, Iowa, on May 17th, which will be a competition, and so we will be enrolling in that competition. And that'll be going on that day, and this will be for people involved in choir. This will be for people involved in choir, and you can certainly come out and see the performance when it actually happens. There's buses that'll take you there. You can drive there. People can drive you there. There will be buses that will be heading to Pella, Iowa, or you can drive there or get driven there, but you have to be there by a certain location. All those little details, but so that's going on there. In terms of just looking a little bit further down the track, Leo season, the big theme this year is being authentic, being you, and shining your light. So there may be an activity based off of being you and expressing yourself and not being afraid to be yourself. There may be like physical activities where you'll sing or act or experience that feeling of being in the spotlight, that feeling of being proud and expressing yourself and being courageous and being free and uninhibited. So it may include being an actor in a film, or singing, or going on stage, or being a magician. Those will be some of the activities I have planned. But basically, you're going to be doing stuff that that you feel would personally express who you are, your unique talents, gifts, and abilities, and what you enjoy doing, what you want to show the world. Because Leo is all about showing the world. So that's being you, and self-care is the same for this Cancer season. So there is going to be sort of a break for Cancer season. There might not be going on a whole ton for Cancer season. You may even be at home for the whole of Cancer season. So I really don't know. But self-care, taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself, I want to make that the theme of this year's Cancer season. Okay, so that's all the information I have for you today. I certainly will not be doing a video like this on my computer for a long, long time. I will. Well, I don't know. I really don't know. But all I can say is this has been a long video. Thank you for coming here. Have a great full moon. For anyone watching up there, you can leave, go off to your living quarters, go home, live your life, do all those kind of things. For people who have Kindlet work, you can do that, your schedule, your Kindlet classes and when they meet and who your teachers are. That's your business, that's your deal, that's your life. So, yeah, that's all that I have to say for now. So, bye everybody. Thank you for sticking in with me, listening, taking in this information. This recording will be available. Please go back and watch it. I would also recommend maybe taking notes over the things that I'm saying, writing something down, typing the notes out on a phone, or writing the notes down at a notebook, or even recording doing a voice recorder of this meeting would also be really beneficial so that you can go back and replay this information and rehear it and get this information so that you have it as you have it saved and you can go back to it. But I don't think that's too important, seeing as this is a video. I will stop it here in just a second. I'll publish it on one of my accounts, and you'll be able to see it as an unlisted video because you'll get an email. The link will be sent out to you, and so you'll have this video to refer back to for all of these announcements that I want to give today. Okay, that's it for this meeting. This has been a long meeting, but thank you for sticking in with me today. Bye for now.